Okay, hi. This is Sunless Sea, the precursor to Sunless Skies, which has just come out, and the sequel to Fallen London, which I think was a browser-based game from back in the day. Anyway, it's notoriously hard to start. I'm going to primarily ignore the Zubmariner component just for now, although we should get to it at some point. But I just thought it might be helpful to see how one might start the game in such a way that you don't immediately die. Captain's making. 3 decades ago, in the reign of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies a mile below the surface. It was dreadfully inconvenient for everyone, but it opened a vast black ocean to you. Welcome to the Untersee. Choose a past, decide who you were and what you want to be. You now lodge in a room above the blind helmsman. Are we a street urchin? A bonus to veils. Do we want to be evasive? Not really. I should read it. Sorry. A street urchin. Your urchin gang cast you out when you grew too tall. You took to sea rather than graduate to larger crimes. The last big score was enough to buy a ship. No thanks. A poet. Educated and articulate, you seek sensation at sea. How lucky you had a legacy to spend. Your long-vanished father had a rich patron, it seems. A bonus to pages, which is a skill of trickery and knowledge, which is apparently quite useful because pages is very hard to level up over the course of the game, where the other sort of skills or characteristics are a little more advanceable. Veteran of the campaign of 68. You fought in the invasion of hell. London's armies lost. You survived. Your loot and your pension have brought you a command, a bonus to iron, which kind of makes your guns more potent. An ordained priest. You fell from grace. There is nothing left ashore for you. An anonymous benefactor has found this way out for you. Perhaps at Z you can overcome your appetites. Hearts, which is not terribly useful in as much as it kind of just is a roll against various sort of constitution elements which don't pop up that often as much as I've seen. A natural philosopher. Your peculiar theories on time, blood and starlight brought you down to the Neath, the cavern where London lies, and now they take you out to Z. A bonus to mirrors, which gives you kind of perception. So my inclination is to go for poet, just because reasons. A wise soul. Experience. You have intuition, and your friend, the sly navigator. He's a little vague, but he probably knows what he's doing. Perhaps you can find someone better eventually. Talk to the navigator and find out why he went to sea. You are a struggling poet, now you're a Z captain. Your stranger quality has gone. Welcome to the world. You have gained 20 echo. New total 70. You have gained 25 pages. New total 50. You have 1 sly navigator. Someone is looking for passage. What does winning mean to you? Your father's bones. Your father was lost at sea. You never knew him, but you've dreamt of him often. Find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. Immortality. Eternal life sounds like something you'd enjoy, and it's said that the presbyter, ruler of the elder continent, has lived forever. Fulfillment. Gather 100 tales. Learn all you can of the Z. Write a masterpiece and retire. Wealth. You know how it is to be poor. Now you want a mansion, servants, fine clothes, a family perhaps. Strange that a family should be a sign of wealth. A private kingdom. Establish a colony where you are absolute ruler. A utopia, perhaps. So in the kind of style of the poet, I suppose we will go for the fulfillment. Whenever you return to Fallen London, you have the option of retiring, but you'll need to write your masterwork first. An occurrence. Your objective ambition quality is now become London's most venerated explorer. Cool. Let's just refer to ourselves as Captain. You be dressed as Captain. Who are you? Let's be Captain Mash. Nope. And Captain Mash, not 3 million years old. Not a lady. The winesman. Oh, look, it's who looks more writerly? Let's go for this fellow. No, that's us. So you can see our stats across the top, which I can't currently select. Submariner tutorial. This basically tells us how to go and get the Zubmariner, the submarine, which is down towards the southerly side of the map somewhere. This is all the stuff about introductions, which you can sell for a very handy 50 echoes. We'll bring someone on the ship. Agree to carry the agent travel writer to Guider's Morn. He's prepared to pay handsomely for transport and is keen to commission your ship specifically. Unlocked with a request for passage 1 and a request for passage no more than 1. And I have 1. Welcome aboard. The august travel writer shakes your hand. His grip is distressingly strong. Thank you. It's Guider's Morn I'm bound for first, he says. I hear they, He hurries over to your stoker, who is carrying his steamer trunk up the gangplank. No need to trouble yourself. Give it here. Remember, Captain, Guider's Morn. I'll pay you 150 echoes when we arrive. Okay, bound for Guider's Morn is now a notable story. We'll have a look and we'll here you may catch up with your correspondence, rest, or retire altogether from seafaring life. The better your lodgings, the better the quality of your retirement, naturally. Read the morning papers, the Unexpurgated Gazette, the magazine formerly known as the London Magazine, the Spiteful Trumpeter, news. News from abroad. The Canart is threatening war, they always are. London's colonies on the Cornelian coast want independence, they always do. The Untersee, the papers report, has undergone another alteration. Not yet it hasn't, you'd know. Oh, a promotion coupon from Mrs. Plenty's Provisioners for a half cask of salt herring. You could use that. You now have this. Recent news and 1 supply. We now have 6. Visit your study, rest in a room. We don't really need that. Purchase an elegant townhouse, which is a 1 of 1,000. Consider retirement and back to the city. Visit the Admiralty's survey office. They'll pay you for information from Z captains. Find out what and how. The Admiralty's picket fleets and intelligence networks are long gone. The survey office pays Z captains a small sum for recent information. Visit and investigate ports to gain port reports and trade them in here. The first time you trade in a port report, you'll gain Admiralty's favour. Ask if there is anything particular they need. Well, if we can be assured of your discretion, this port, speak to our agent there and return. We'll see that you are rewarded. Visit the port below and return to London. Retrieve strategic information from Iron and Misery Company funging station somewhere not far from home waters. Okay, we can ask to speak to the Admiral, but I think we'll get, once you've proven yourself perhaps, leave the Admiralty, out into the foggy street. Visit the university only once we've got artifacts and secrets. Carouse in the Wolfstack docks, which we don't really need to do either. Hire more crew. We currently have 8, which is more than enough. I think for a boat of the size of 10, 6 is probably optimal, because it means that you have more than half full, which enables you to go faster, but doesn't consume over much of the provisions as you go. Put your ship in the dry dock, that's for repairs and such. Offer passage to tomb colonists. An emigrant will pay to be taken north to Vanderbight. Yes. It's oddly difficult to die in fallen London, but when a Londoner is too tatty and wretched to live, they wrap themselves in bandages and take ship for the tomb colonies. Your crew cart these ones aboard in padded coffins. They'll sleep there until the journey is done. The tomb colonist is in your hold. Take them north to the colony of Vanderbight and sell them there. Take the tomb colonist to Vanderbight. Can do. Carouse on the docks, hire more crew. A new recruit. Not now. So we'll have a look at our hold. We've got 10 cargo, 6 supplies. Our tomb colonist. We've got some recent news and the ability to basically turn off permadeath. Our journal, we are seafarers. This is our ultimate goal, to become London's most venerated explorer. We've got a commission to go to the funging station, and another to take the tomb colonist to Vanderbight, and take someone to wherever it was, I forgot. Almost safe. Closing chapters. Knowledge about submarines. So here's our officer. We can speak to them, but I think it would cost us... what does he want? We can't have dinner with him. What does he seek at Z? The Z is enough. But now you mention it, I have always had a desire to see Frostbound, the place where the Z rises to become a castle, the place where questions and riddles do battle for truth. He sighs dreamily, but he is watching you carefully. Yes, Frostbound. Frostbound can be found in the very north of the Z. Ooh, propositioned by the navigator. Anything else? I think not. Our grumpy mascot. Play with the ferret. Attract its attention. A weary roll of the eye. Play, that eye roll says. Play. I played once in the happy warrens of London before you installed me in this floating coffin and made me eat dried food. Damn your play. It's an eloquent eye roll. Alrighty. So in the shops, excuse me, seeing as we are heading for the Vanderbight, they pay quite well for mushroom wine. Sounds disgusting. Probably is disgusting. And by quite well, I mean we buy it for 21 and sell it for 23. It's not a massive markup, but it's worth it. And the provisions we have are adequate to get there and back currently. We can't afford weapon stuff. We can't afford boat upgrades, engine upgrades. We can't afford light upgrade stuff. Shipyard. We don't, and we're a long way away from upgrading the boat. So, off we go. Now you notice I've just switched the light off. It consumes fuel, which is a pretty valuable commodity. So what we'll generally do is once the terror wheel gets close to clicking over, then we'll turn the light on and minimize the impact a little. I think we can close the character sheet. Look at this, we've sailed for like 2 seconds and we're already nearly a quarter of a way through our food. But we'll just head up here to Hunter's, what's it? You can see the terror wheel counting up there. We've discovered Low Barnet. Some sort of beetle has invaded your morsel of ship's biscuit. It wiggles its antenna impertinently, which of course is the worst kind of antenna wiggling. We're just going to stop at Hunter's Keep because we can get some goods here on the cheap. A hump of dark rock swathed in mist like 100 other Untersee islands, but here is a grand house, windows aglow, lawns impossibly green and lush in the false starlight, raked gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. Let's walk in the gardens. We could also reconnoitre the plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, well tucked away in a fold of the grounds. Anything else? The sea's silence. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle. The house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing's changed, at least. We have the port report for Hunter's Keep. 75% chance to spy on the house. Why not? You peer through a half-open French window into a grand parlour, grand in size, if a little reduced in style by dust and neglect. A dark-haired, pale-skinned young woman bends earnestly over a piano keyboard. Another, fair-haired but unmistakably her sister, sprawls on the sofa with a book. A third sits by the fireplace, staring sorrowfully into the embers. "Soon," she says, and the piano music falters and stops. "We'll go hungry, and then the end will come for me, but not for you." The pianist raises her eyes from the keyboard. "Hush. If we don't speak of it," she frowns. "Has she seen you at the window?" You withdraw. You succeeded in a Veils challenge. You know something of Hunter's Keep, and we've earned 40 fragments. Knock and enter. A maid with smouldering topaz eyes shows you into the parlour where the 3 young women wait. "A visitor," the youngest cries. The next youngest chuckles. The eldest sighs. "Do excuse the indecorum," she says. "Visitors are rare. You are very welcome. I am Cynthia, the noisy one is Phoebe. The careful one is Lucy. You are in good time for lunch. Will you join us?" You're acquainted with the sisters. The air trembles. A breath of change passes. Which sister shall we choose? Let's go for Phoebe. Phoebe is soft-voiced, watchful, unpredictable. Here's a story. Phoebe has a story to tell, of 2 lovers parted by water, of a raven that carried messages, of a fragment of the moon. She beats time on the table as she speaks, as if to a song only she can hear. The effect is hypnotic. Your attention drifts out through the skylight of the dining room to the false stars glittering in the roof of the cavern. You drift like a puffball spore. The Untersee shimmers below. Islands lie like mineral specimens on black velvet. Ships bob like wood chips between the islands. Vast, spined things pulse in the depths. There is a scent like the scent before a storm. The storm came, says Phoebe quietly. Everything changed. Somewhere in there, you finished the last course. The scowling maid reluctantly serves cheese and Bath Oliver biscuits. You have one memory of distant shores. You're acquainted with the sisters. You've gained one supply. You've lost 36 hunger. Your fragments remain unchanged. An occurrence. Your Gods of the Z storm attention quality is now. Okay, I think that's pretty much all we can do. We don't really need to persuade them with news. We've got now some fragments, some knowledge of the port report of the Hunter's, whatever it's called, keep. And there's our mushroom wine. Nothing in the shops and nothing in the shipyard. So, off we go. So we're basically just heading straight north from here. Flashing our lumens as we go. Red terror. We turn it to brown. Switch it off. Dust echoes, even a sepia tint to the air. These are waters around the tomb colonies. We'll speed away from the bat swarm for now. They don't seem to want to... Oh, we should be able to get away. We'll sound the all clear. We have discovered Vanderbite. I think we should be able to just have a little look over here too. Discovered Tanachuk. See if we can get round to the port before our terror gets full again. The trouble with tomb colonists. You've brought this decaying emigrant north. Now what? Days of shrooms and roses. The new tomb colonist surveys Vanderbite, shaking her head. It won't do, she said. It won't do at all. A plan. I had no idea this place would be quite so unprepossessing. Perhaps we can liven it up a little yet. If only I knew a helpful Z captain. Bring 10 units of mushroom wine to Vanderbite and perhaps they'll have something for you. We've lost our tomb colonist. On deck you can hear the sound that 1,000 bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. It's something like the world's most restless concert audience, or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. Assist a specialized collector, we can't do that. Glass of dusty wine, we can't do that. Explore Vanderbite. Here they favour candlelight over gaslight. The shadows are swagged like cobwebs. The tomb colonists stand still enough to be mistaken for sculpture until they laugh or cough. One building in 3 seems abandoned. let's explore. An unorthodox technology, sweeter scents draw you into a shop which sells candles, lilac, lavender, honey. You fall into a discussion of their manufacture with the shopkeeper. Yes, she says, proudly displaying her missing arm. We render ourselves to good end. Oh, don't look like that. Our fats are the finer quality than any other, are of a finer quality than any other, and we grow tired of our bodies down here. You now have a tale of terror. We have gained 1 terror. You've gained 10 fragments, and that's all. Visit the first curator. Z-Captains, the first curator gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. It has been here much longer than London, like all the earliest tomb colonists. But even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Its time is close. No more light, the obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. He opens the door, and you step into near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplighter bees buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There is no other source of light. A bandaged shape no larger than a child lies crumpled on a couch. It lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. Listen to its low whispered request. Ask about the Grand Sanatorium. Accept a commission or depart. Let's listen to the request. Z-Captain, Silkskin, not much left of me. I will go into the Grand Sanatorium. Bring me colours, 7 colours. Pay well. 7 colours. Cosmogone, Irigo, Pelegin. Steward has list. Find them here and there across the wide black Z. We'll ask about the sanatorium. Oh, Silkskin, you don't want to know. The chuckling becomes a cough. We don't die here below, not unless we go to Z. So we needed something else, somewhere to end. Accept the commission. No more words. It collapses, rustling, back onto the couch. Even the effort of speaking seems to have diminished it a little. The audience is over. As the door opens, it shrinks from the finger of light that reaches across the floor. Outside, the obsequious steward nods. The book? Yes, the book. He hands you a slim illustrated volume. The curator is old as dust. We will all be grateful if you do this one last favour. We now have one of this, the Neath Bow. A page from the Neath Bow, Apician, Cosmogone, Gant, Irigo, Pelegin, Violent, and Viric. Okay. Gather gossip. Who was plotting what out in the tomb colonies? Along the coasts of the Untersee, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London have become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home or their politics. You gather a haul of complex clues, enough to keep your contacts in London interested. We have the port report on Vanderbilt. Alright, we can flog the wine, otherwise we don't really have anything to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can sell memories and recent news, but I think they might be put to better use elsewhere. They also have a ship, but it's very hard to acquire. So, that's us, and off we go. Chinaman's Stag. What a fantastic name. Okay, let's boogie. Okay, and we're home. Slow down, and we shall dock. An inspection by the Ministry of Public Decency. Some things are too illegal for the Customs Service to admit the existence of. The Ministry are looking for those. I think we have nothing to hide, so you shrug and invite them to search your ship as thoroughly as they would like. They leave scuff marks on the newly scrubbed decks and take great pleasure in tangling the rigging. They find nothing more dangerous than a mouldy ship's biscuit, which they can have. The lights of London welcome you home. All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there messages for you? Let's see, something has changed underneath. Someone wants to sign on. That's all for now. Another day. And the Rose's Wharf. The Rose's Wharf is a collection of missions which are very often quite hard to get, at least from the start. A little gift. A very fine evening to you, Captain. My, what you might call mentor, is very fond of adventurous sea captains, and he would like to offer you what you might call a dispensation on account of he is so fond of sea captains. Behind the blind bruiser on the deck stands a dray piled high with fuel and supplies. Accept the dispensation, inquire further, refuse. Who is this patron? Is there a catch? An airy wave. He runs the very fine and very liberal establishment just across the river, what is much patronised by sailors and the men of wit and vinegar, and a public house. And there is no obligation to speak of. My patron would hope only that you might remember him kindly, and I suppose that if the opportunity should arise for you to return his kindness, then I do not imagine he would refuse your offer. Well, I guess we accept the dispensation. Do make sure you have 15 points of space in the hold, or come back later. It would be embarrassing to have to leave it on the dock. A courteous nod. Well, my patron hopes that you find these little gifts to your liking, and he expects that perhaps some day you might choose to call on him at the Medusa's Head. Should that day come, we will make you very welcome and give you any safe conduct that you might require. A good evening to you. He salutes and is gone. You have gained 10 fuel, new total 17. You have gained 5 supplies, new total 11. You've accepted the proposal, and we now have 1 level of suspicion. Can we visit the study? No. Rest? No, don't need that. Consider retirement? I don't think so. Back to the London. Admiralty's surveys. Yes, you can have my port report for Hunter's Keep. I trust the sisters are keeping well. They are citizens of her enduring majesty, notionally. for which we get 5 echo, 1 favour, and 1 fuel. Vandebite. What have the nearly dead been up to then? 10 echoes, 1 favour, 1 fuel. We don't really have enough for that. Leave the Admiralty. Out into the foggy street. Turn your collar up. Now we have secrets. We can go to the university. The university has an inexhaustible appetite for secrets. Z-specimens and other tidbits of esoteric lore. Provide a secret to prove yourself worthy of entry. Quite impressed. Oh, yes. The university's maritime liaison whispers breathily. Oh, yes, this is quite a tasty one. Let me explain to you. He explains, teeth glinting. We've lost a secret. A new twist in your tale. You are now Favors Antiquarian. You've gained 1 pages. Now 51. The alarming scholar is mercurial, to say the least, a creature of sudden moods and provoking teeth. Possibly her, or is it her? Appointment as University Maritime Liaison was precautionary to keep his razor-sharp enthusiasm from causing too many injuries in the faculty. Ah, yes, the scholar whispers breathily. I have a budget for acquisitions. What have you brought me? If you have any knowledge, items that the scholar will buy, they'll appear below. Memory of distant shores. Wells of emotion. As the alarming scholar listens, tears well in the depths of those shining, or is it blazing eyes? They overflow, splashing onto the desk blotter. Stop! She sobs at last. This is too beautiful. Allow me to bring the core of memories. I wish each individual tone recalled. We've lost the memory of distant shores. We've gained 10 echo, and our Favors Antiquarian is increasing. Leave the university. You have business to attend to, and besides, the scholar keeps snapping her teeth like a mechanical trap. We don't really need to carouse. We don't really need to hire more crew. We don't really need repairs. We do have a new recruit. Someone wants to sign on. On later visits, different officers will sometimes be available. If there's more than one choice, you can choose one per visit. Brisk campaigner. Oi, you! You need a real physician, none of your surgeons. The brisk campaigner is skilled doctor who increase your hearts and iron. They usually cost 50 echo, which is quite a lot. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. The Rose Market is lost another day. No, it's all stuff that we won't have for a little while yet. London, we've kind of been around there. And lodgings, rest in the room we don't really need. Retiring we ain't gonna do. Okay, so the next step is to we'll have a chat with the officer. Gosh, it looks like Frida Cahlo. We will assign the surgeon and we will speak to her. Sit down there. I'll be with you in a moment, Captain. Thank you. This is actually very interesting. Let me see if I can find something useful for you too. Spend a secret to increase your hearts. Invite her to dine with you. We don't have the requisite motor salt. Okay, so next is the funging station, and bring loads of wine up to Vanderbight and take this person to where I forgot. Oh, Guide Morn, that's right, which is usually just straight to the east. Okay,